Hello, art history buffs. I know that I have been silent for quite a while. I can't believe it's been 2 years, and the last 2 years have been a roller coaster for me, as I'm sure they have for many of you, coming out of this pandemic-y, lockdown sort of world that we are now trying to navigate. I am honored by those of you who have stuck around waiting for new videos to come out from this channel, and then the new people who have come to watch the old videos from this channel. I don't make money off of this. Can you hear that siren? Yeah. I don't make money off of this, and I don't have anyone helping me do these things. I do all of the research, obviously the video part, the editing. I mean, from start to finish, this is just a me project, and I don't get paid for it. So that's why it's so difficult for me to upload on a regular schedule. I hope I'm moving into a more stable portion of my life, and this is definitely something that I want to make a priority because, you know, it's something that you guys really seem to enjoy, and I want everybody to be able to have access to this kind of education. So I promise to get to these more frequently going forward, and thank you so much for your patience over these last 2 years. Today we're moving on from our Baroque series and into the lovely Rococo movement. You could argue that Rococo was more popular in architecture and interior design, which is why some art historians don't include it in their teachings of the Western Canon at all. I was not, in my academic studies, I did not learn about Rococo until I was in college. But it just has this kind of attitude and personality that I find really difficult to ignore. So I think even though I am by no means an expert on Rococo, I want you to be exposed to it. Some background on the movement is that beginning around the 1700s, there was a cultural shift in the French elite. This kind of moved the nobility groups away from the giant Versailles palace and into private homes. So where Baroque art had this theatrical and somber tone to it in comparison, a gravitas that kind of befitted the royal palace, Rococo found itself to be more lighthearted, playful, and delicate to be cool in these private homes. So when the style transferred to painting, it focused on nature and love and sometimes things that go along with love, adult things. Rococo eventually fell out of popularity because even for the French upper echelons of society, decorating your home head to toe in this is not very practical. But today we are going to start at the beginning with Jean-Antoine Wat. This oil on canvas is titled The Embarkation to Cythera, or The Pilgrimage to Cythera, depending on the translation you would use from the original French. According to Greek mythos, Cythera was the birthplace of the goddess Aphrodite, and the island reportedly has a rich, luscious natural landscape, which is absolutely perfect for our first Rococo painting. In the painting, a group of couples has come to pay homage to the goddess Aphrodite and presumably fall deeper in love with each other on this beautiful Greek island, which is a hope that I have for us all. On the right, you can actually see a statue of Aphrodite, and if you start from this statue and work to the left, you will see each couple in a deeper stage of love than the last. Historians debate as to whether the couples are going to the island of Cythera or coming back from the island of Cythera, but I personally believe that they are going to, as to me the title suggests they are at the beginning of their voyage. The overall effect of this image is very light and airy, which is iconic for our Rococo paintings that have this really distinct, natural, delicate style. Now this painting took Watteau 5 years to complete, which makes me feel a lot better about the length of time it takes me to complete some of my creative projects. But he finally did so in 1717. This painting was his submission to the French Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture, and coming from Baroque paintings which starkly contrast light and dark and deal in these often biblical but otherwise pretty weighty subjects. The fact that he was accepted into the French Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture on this light, airy painting definitely signaled a shift in painting culture in France. This would eventually spread to other countries in Europe, most notably in Italy and Germany. This version of the painting currently hangs in the Louvre in Paris, France. I don't know why I had to think of where the Louvre was. And even after 300 years, it still manages to capture that dreamy feeling of falling in love. Rococo was a pretty short-lived painting movement, so this was our first video, and we will only have one more after this. The next one will cover 2 Rococo artists at 1 painting each, wrapping up our Rococo studies for the time being. And this is really because I don't have a lot of background in this particular movement. As I've said, this was not something that my teachers covered at length, so I just don't have a lot of interesting details to draw from. To me, Rococo seems to be pretty straightforward, and it doesn't seem to have the same gritty details and juicy rumors that some of our other art periods have that I find more interesting and definitely more interesting to talk about and share with you guys. If you do happen to know a lot about Rococo art and you have any tea to spill, please leave it in the comments, and if there's anything you would like me to cover in more detail, I will absolutely do that. So just let me know what you're interested in and I will do some research. But as always, thank you so much for watching and being more consistent with this channel than I have for some of you. I promise not to leave it so long next time.